Okay, so just before we begin, if you maybe just come to sitting or lying down, just take a moment to gather yourself, to settle yourself. And being aware that we have a new moon approaching, and along with the new moon, we're also in that time of year where lots of people are going back to school, going back to college or university, or returning to work. So there's a real sort of energy in the air. I feel like even more so now than there is in January at the beginning of the new year, when actually we're all still just wanting to stay in hibernation. Whereas now in September it feels like there's more of an impetus to start afresh. So I wonder if you can tune into that sort of energy in the air, along with the new moon. So it's the beginning of the academic year, a new lunar cycle, and use this time almost like a reset or an invitation to clarify perhaps what you might need to grow over the next few months, or what you might like to grow over the next few months. So just checking in with yourself, how you feel at this time of year, what you need. And maybe you even have an intuitive sense of what you think this autumn, the coming autumn, might be about for you. And as we come towards the end of the summer, with autumn just around the corner, I wonder if we might sort of tune into that energy of new beginnings by just letting your hands float up in front of you, and then beginning to move your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your arms, in any way, just randomly. So without me necessarily describing exactly what to do, see if you can, maybe as if you were doing Tai Chi or Qigong, just explore the space around you and the feeling of movement in your body. So feel free to be soft and flowy, or you might like to stretch a little bit. You might use some gestures in your hands, so pushing the palms away. Can you feel how that kind of has a gesture of having boundaries, creating space for yourself? Feel free to move your legs as well, so you don't need to stay cross-legged. So see if you can let this exploratory movement come into your whole body. seeing if you might really explore new sort of places, new movement, new shapes. So not even necessarily yoga shapes, just random shapes or movements that kind of belong to you. And then if you maybe come to some kind of sitting position again and letting the arms be down by your sides, and then slowly, more specifically, taking the arms out and up. And if you bring the palms together and then down the center line, just to center yourself, maybe do a couple more. Okay, and then if you come onto all fours, and perhaps do the same again here. So you might do a bit of cat stretch, you might churn, you might come back into child, and then you might do all sorts of other things. You know, you could lift one hand, you could lift the knees. So exploring movement sort of from the all fours base, but you know, be creative. See if you can find movement, stretches, shapes that maybe you've never done before. Just be careful, you know, obviously. Really feel into your body. It might be quite nice if you come onto all fours to bend your elbows and carefully bring your forehead onto the ground. And just take a moment to really let the forehead be grounded, be connected to the earth. And then with this next movement, I wouldn't be too creative with this, because you don't want to play around with, you know, the weight in your neck. So maybe be a bit more specific with this one. From the forehead, if you keep your hands on the ground and just roll the weight to the crown of the head. So you kind of end up with the weights right in the crown of the head, and then from the crown of the head coming back again to the forehead. Maybe move forwards and back a few times, just feeling the weight coming through the forehead, the crown. So really feeling that sensation of groundedness, through the brain, through the skull, through the head. And if you then come off your head, and maybe if you're comfortable, come to kneeling or just somehow sitting, and just maybe close the eyes, pause, feel the effect